we are now starting the stream. And what do we say? Hello? We are here in Berlin running the 14th vvvv meetup, and for the first time we are streaming it live on the internet. And we are very happy to have a guest from Japan joining us, Takuma. And he is going to show us what he's been working on recently. So I put you full screen somehow. How do I put you full screen?
Can you show us? Everyone, hello. Can you turn your laptop so that everyone can have a... You have to switch on the light for that.
Yeah, I'll just show Takuma our crowd here. Can you turn?
Hey. Oh, many people. Everyone drinking.
Cool. So
9 p.m. there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Time to sleep.
So please, we don't know much about you. I found you on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, it was. I can start talking. Well, hi everyone there. I'm Takuma Nakata. I basically call myself an interaction designer, but Adobe says I should call myself an experiential designer, so I have it as an experiential designer. And I'm an Adobe Creative Residency of 2019. And probably most of the people don't know about Adobe Creative Residency. Well, I'll talk about that. So today I have two topics. One, I heard some people might be interested in Adobe Creative Residency, what it is about. So I'm going to talk about that. And after that, I'll also talk about how I've been working and what I've been doing using via file.
Very good.
So I'll talk about that. First of all, let me talk about Adobe Creative Residency. This is a year-long program that Adobe is running, and it's basically a creative residency program that Adobe runs. Very simple. And I heard there was like 1,600 or I don't know 3,000 people applying, and at the end there's only 9 people. Being as a creative residency, Adobe supports our creativity for entire year, which is great. And there's artists from United States. There are 4 artists from the United States, and then there's 2 from Germany. One is actually from Berlin, Patricia Lehnert. She lives in Berlin. She's an UI UX designer. And there's another one from Munich called Emily Salzberg. She's a photographer. And then this year it was actually our first time in Japan having this residency program, and this illustrator called Aiko Fukuda, and I was the one who was selected. So this residency program runs in Germany as well. And this is great because Adobe actually supports your creativity. And since it's an Adobe residency program, it's a company-run program. People think that I have to use Adobe tools. But however, I'm I'm very heavy a vvvv user, and I do use Adobe tools in between, but I don't use Adobe tools as end result. So like for example, photographers, they use Photoshop or Lightroom for their product, or a UI UX designer, they use XD quite heavy. But I design interactive installation, and Adobe doesn't have a tool to design an interactive installation. So yeah, I had a really hard time. Like I also thought I have to use Adobe tools, but at the end, this residency program is basically a program to support a young creative to become a professional. So as far as you're doing something interesting, they don't really care if you're using Adobe tool or something else. They prefer you promoting Adobe tools, but you're not like a product evangelist. You're a creative evangelist to promote about what cool things is happening, and Adobe thought interactive installation or things that you can do in vvvv is really cool, and it's something that comes in future that Adobe has to invest as well, and that was the reason why they chose me. Yep. So sorry, yeah, I talked quite a lot about the creative residency program. If there's any question at the end, I think I can answer to that. But I'm quite a rare person to be in this residency program because most of the people use Adobe tools quite heavily, and I don't. So yeah. That's about it about residency program. And the cool thing about this program is also that they allowed you to do your stuff remotely, so you don't have to be in, like, I don't know, San Francisco or New York and all together. I'm in my personal office, and I live in Kyoto, Japan. So this is where my office is. The very old Japanese house made by wood. Yeah, so nice place to relax and do
And
your
how
stuff.
long is this residency still going?
So it runs for 1 year, so it ends next April.
Okay, you're halfway through, kind of.
Yes, I'm already halfway through, and I haven't really done. Well, I've been designing a huge installation.
Will there be in the end, like, do you have to do a presentation, or there is an exhibition in the end, or?
Yeah, well, they asked me to be in San Francisco on April, but it's not really like a huge presentation. We don't really have a goal. One thing that they say might be a goal is you have to be influenced on a social network, which I'm not really good at it.
Well, I found you there, so.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I made progress. That's true. Yes.
Are there any questions
It's
regarding the
basically
residency program here?
Sorry?
No, I was just asking if there was any question here so far. No.
Yeah.
No questions so far. So maybe you can show us what you did.
Yeah, so I can show you what I did. Okay. Basically, so I design interactive installation. A lot of others, like, they're spending a lot of time on social network. Like, some people gained, I don't know, like 40,000 followers on YouTube and things like that. Like Instagram, some gained, I don't know, 1,500 followers or something. But I personally didn't. I'm really bad at social networks, so I didn't spread much on social network. But rather than that, I got a chance to design an installation for Adobe Max. It's an event happening in LA next month, in 2 weeks actually. And I think it's one of the biggest creative conference happening in the world. There's like 16,000 people coming to the venue. It's pretty big. And I was asked to design a huge installation there, which is like 40-meter wide, 15-meter high. It's pretty big. So yeah, I've been working for like half of my residency program already to build those installations. For me, it's great, but I didn't gain any followers. Because I've been working like developing the system. So this is the one that I've been developing right now. Actually, this one is not for LA. This one is for right after Adobe Max. I have another installation in India. It's an event called the Design Up India, and they asked me to use XD and make an installation, and I said no, it's impossible. So I'm using vvvv. Yeah. So yeah, this one it's an installation using a YOLO library from the VL, which is great that it's there. I always wanted to make an installation using machine learning rather than Kinect, because Kinect relies to the cables, like this situation, like they stopped selling it and things like that. So I was quite pissed off. So I wanted to design it with by detecting human using something else like optical flow and things like that. And I'm glad this is working right now in vvvv. And yeah, this one is oh shit, not Cinema 4D. Yeah, this one is this one is a very long LED wall. I was told to design something for a huge place, and it ended up being a 20-meter wide LED wall. And I thought it would be interesting to design an installation that people can walk in front of it and see themselves apply to the screen. However, I didn't want to make it a very simple interactive installation, and I also personally wanted to make I use machine learning to detect them. So yeah, I made this system on using, but this is really basic thing. I'm only doing stuff using YOLO, but I'm trying to add different type of effects so that people themselves will be the media to draw on top of the screen. So it keeps. So I set this one is like, I don't know. This one is the texture array. So people actually they have an UI on XD. I'm implementing XD UI on a touchscreen. That's also done in vvvv. And people are going to be able to touch this touch screen and select if they want more, like how to say, cues on the texture area on the screen or less texture area on the screen. So I can say that I'm using XD. Oh, Adobe XD is a tool that Adobe provides. It's actually for free. So even though you don't have Adobe Creative Cloud, you can still use it. It's a software like Photoshop or Illustrator, but XD is a software you can design a UI very interactively. It's actually quite interesting. Like it's a node-based design software, I would say. Oh, I can show you. So it's like this. This is Adobe XD.
From there we can check it out ourselves, so we know it's.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Like you can connect nodes and animate between artboards. So it's quite easy to design some prototypes for your website or your smartphone.
Okay.
And it's a very, very powerful software. The sad thing is they didn't have a plugin that sends OSC or something. And I asked them if they could help me developing that. And they said like, okay, we can. And it's been like 3-4 months already. So probably they didn't want to help me. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically about this installation. And while designing this installation, for me was really important to have a strong concept. This was what I had at the beginning. It's a graphical image. And what I wanted to do with this installation is basically I wanted to represent like, how to say, like the crowdness or like in Tokyo, like I hate going to Tokyo. I live in Kyoto because I don't like crowdness. But if I go to Tokyo, I really get impressed by how crowded it is, like how many people with suits are walking at the subway and getting on the train. And I thought it would be really interesting to use them as a medium to draw a visual. And that was the reason why I wanted to make this installation. And yeah, I think India is also, I'm having that installation in India, but India is one of the crowded city as well. So I'm quite happy to have a chance to have an installation there. Yeah, that's basically what I was planning to show today. Am I missing something?
Can you, like the YOLO thing, that's in VL, but there are two YOLO things for VL. Which one did you use for this?
I used YOLO detection, the quad one.
The one that comes with OpenCV or the one that's in the forum?
OpenCV.
Because it seems.
Oh no, this one is. Oh no, this one is. This one is on the forum, the
Yes,
GPU one.
that's what
was
I
it?
thought. It's so fast.
Yeah, it was super fast though.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, and it was it was my first time playing with VL, and I had no idea what. I mean, I knew what VL was, but I thought VL was for programmers. I really had a hard time like understanding like how do I do this? How do I make it work?
Everything, or did you get any help?
Well, I made some question to you on the forum as well, but basically, yeah, I found it out by myself. I just had to spend like 3-4 days. VB is so easy, just node based, and there's a lot of example on vvvv forum. So if you dig in, you can actually find the result quite easily.
Cool. Any questions from the audience? Everyone is just stunned.
Yeah. My question is that a live feed video which is processed, or is it not?
Sorry? Can you maybe repeat that again?
He's asking if this is a live stream of a video.
Well, it will be, actually.
Yeah.
Of course, it is not.
Oh, this one. Oh, sorry. No, it's going to be a live stream. Yeah, I forgot to switch it. Yeah, so it's going to be a live stream.
In the final project.
Yeah. I'm using live input, and I'm using 3 different cameras.
Because the LED screen is so wide, you're using 3 different.
Yeah, I'm using. Oh shit! I'm trying. It's not detecting because it's a camera. Yeah, so I have 3 different cameras there. It's a Sony, really small camera. So I'm connecting these 3 with Decklink video converter and to SDI, and I have my desktop. My desktop is receiving all the SDI with Blackmagic Decklink 4K. But at the moment, I still haven't solved how to get live feed in Decklink 4K. The Blackmagic DX11 thing is not working on my side, so I'm trying to figure out how I can solve that.
Mm-hmm.
There's any tip for that?
Anyone? Enos node. There is where is that? It's also in the contribution. You know, there is. We got hint that there is another Blackmagic Decklink capture node. If you go to the contributions store, in the store.
Oh wow! Okay, so I can buy it.
Yeah, at least talk to Eno who created this and see what's the conditions to get it.
Oh, that'd be nice. Oh, yeah, of course, it's quite expensive, of course.
I would send him an email and ask him about it.
Okay. Yeah, I remember sending him an email before, and it took 1.5 months, I think, to get the reply.
Yeah, he's a busy guy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well, it seems we don't have any pressing questions. I don't know. Do you have anything?
I think
more or?
Most of the people here use vvvv quite long, right? Or are there any beginners here?
We have some beginners, yes, but I would say most of them, yes, most of them are pros. No, but we have some beginners here also.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not a coder and I can't code at all. Like using VL was really hard for me because I'm not a coder. And I'm not that good in mathematics as well. But vvvv, since it's visualized, like everything is visualized, for me it's very, very easy. I never coded C#. I never coded GLSL. So it's working.
Well, that's good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I think we we stop it here. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
we will. I will be following you, and if you have anything up on social media, then I will forward it to the people here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It was nice talking in front of you.
See ya.
Yeah. Have a good night. Bye.
Yeah.
What's up next?
Yeah. So let's take a drink and then come back with more presentations. Bye. Nathan. Nathan giving us an update on Kairos. And
Info@Oszilos. Das ist auf den Zettel, glaube ich. Sag mal, Oszilos. Das ist ja super.
I think the stream is still running. Is the stream on? And
Stream is on.
camera on. Ja, dann kommt man so einen kleinen Scheinwerfer mit.
Sehr cool, wenn man Stream pausen kann. Was? Wenn man pausen könnte? Pause und dann weiter. Was dann ziemlich krassen Schatten hier, aber das ist egal. Man sieht es. Und dann musst du überlegen, wo ich dich setze. Du hältst das Bild lieber da unten oder da?
Entschuldigung, in dem Fall jetzt da links unten, weil das kommt was. Aber. Everyone, may I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? We are live on the internet. So we don't want to waste every minute costs.
Please behave.
So please maybe come a bit closer, stop chatting.
Why should we behave? Why should we behave? I didn't get that.
No reason.
Oh, okay. Just
Normal behavior. So we are continuing with two more presentations. One by myself about rabbit control, and then followed by a presentation by Nathan, who will show us his progress of Kairos. Rabbit control. If some of you remember, we've mentioned this like years ago already, and really the first ever mention was more than 10 years ago when it was still called Controleur, where I built this little app that would allow you from a mobile phone to control I/O boxes in vvvv. And then a few years ago I met Ingo and I told him about this general problem of controlling parameters externally. And he said, yes, I have exactly the same problem. So we joined forces and created this project called Rabbit Control, the Remote Control Protocol, short RCP. And it works like this. I just show you how it works in vvvv. It's not a vvvv thing. It's a general purpose protocol that anyone, any software can implement. But I show you how it works in vvvv. You start vvvv. All you have to do is create a node that is called Rabbit. As you do this, a server is set up and everything is done for you. Now, say you have an I/O box that you want to control from your mobile phone or from a web browser. So all I have to do is press Control K. It's now exposed, it's green. And now I can connect to the patch, basically. And this is a client that is a web client, but there can be many different clients. This client is written by Ingo in TypeScript. So it's a React TypeScript app that is running on the internet. So I'm really running it from the internet. I'm just loading this URL. It pops up this dialog which tells me to enter the IP of the machine I want to talk to. In this case, I can say localhost for 10,000, that's okay. And already I see the number box that I exposed here. And you see it's already reacting. As I change a value here or there, they are bidirectionally connected. If I Control K to remove it, and then Control K again to show it, then it's there. So let's just create a very simple use case for this. I have a renderer that shows the text. And the text has many parameters that I want to remotely control. So let's say it has the text input, it has the font to choose, it has a color, and it has an enabled thing. These are all like different data types, as you can see. And now I want to control them. So all I do is I select them, press Control K, and they appear on the web. Remember, this can be your mobile phone. This is just a demo here at the moment. And now, as I enter a value here, press return, it appears I have all the fonts to choose from. I can enable, disable it. I can change the color. And I can remove these and show them again. So anyone really who would connect with their mobile phone, if they're in the Wi-Fi, if anyone wants to try this, want to try? The IP of this machine is currently 2.80. And then we should be able to even, like all the clients that connect to the same thing are in sync. That's also an idea about this. Let me.
So 168 or what?
Yeah, sorry, 129, 178, 68, 2.80. If I connect, I can already turn it on and off, and you see how this reacts. I can change the font. You see this? If I change the color here, it is immediately, it's now off. Okay. Now, as I change the color, it's changing. Turn it on and off, and the clients are all. Yeah, there is no magic about this. Just everyone, yeah. It's a very primitive sync. Doesn't work?
No, that cannot reach.
So
What, firewall or something?
the IP is correct. This
It's
was.
a node guest.
Is this Firefox or Chrome? Well, then it should work by default because Firefox has a security thing, but this should. Are you in the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, it's the node guest.
Yeah. Does it work for you?
Is it HTTP or HTTPS or something?
No, it should. Yeah, it should just work. Well, it works for me. Okay, so I hope you get the idea. This is shipping with the next coming version, beta 39. It's just there. All you have to do is create the Rabbit node. Yes, there is a VL package and preview also, vl.rcp, but in VL, we haven't integrated it yet for the IO boxes. So what you have to do in VL is you put a node there that exposes a value, which is also interesting because you can actually dynamically, you can make a particle that exposes parameters, then you can dynamically expose particles, then you get a spread of sliders popping up here and okay, that was the demo. Now I just want to focus your interest on the project a bit. This is all on GitHub, all open source. We started by defining a protocol for this. Like even before we wrote any code, we defined a protocol. And Ingo was so nerdy that he wanted this protocol even to be binary. So it's a very optimized, packaged, very small packaged protocol. It's on GitHub, Rabbit Control RCP. You find all the specification, which we try to, you can read every byte that goes in the protocol. We defined everything. It took us 2 years, basically, to do this. And this is the main Rabbit Control organization. There you see we have already many implementations. So we have, actually, most of them were done by Ingo. He has this TypeScript client implementation, a Java implementation, TypeScript implementation, VL implementation, C# implementation, open frameworks, C++, vvvv, that's this one I just showed you, and a JavaScript client. Carotte is the name of the application, basically. Of one of the client applications, because this is only the default client that we provide now, but obviously and that's the last thing I want to show. Last weekend we had a hackathon. We have regular hackathons for this, so anyone who is interested in the project, please join us. We need your code to improve the project. What we did just the other weekend was with Ingo and Mika. Mika desperately wants this to run on the Arduino. So she wants to be able to, from the Arduino, just write a line of code to expose a parameter to the web browser or to the mobile phone. So you can control this. And so we built this in a 13-hour hackathon on Sunday. And this is the result that we documented. So here we have the Arduino, which is running the C implementation of RCP. It's writing 2 lines of code basically to expose a parameter that goes via serial, because we don't have a Wi-Fi shield on the Arduino. We go via serial. So we needed a bridge from serial to WebSocket, which we built in VL, because VL can just take serial and push it, and in both directions, WebSocket. And then we just used the normal client, which we already have, to connect to the parameters exposed in Arduino. And the Arduino had this glove attached, which would give us some measurements of the movements of the fingers, interpreted by Arduino, exposed as parameters so we can see them in the web.
Now you can control the fingers.
Yeah. That's the goal. So the protocol is defined transport agnostic. Our examples so far use WebSocket, but we can implement different transporters for that are pluggable even.
Like the C implementation as a serial transporter.
Okay, that's the demo. Crash for the end. And
did you propose it to other companies or software or hardware vendors?
Actually,
like that?
Not yet, but we're going to do this. But also, just recently, someone from Touch Designer joined our chat. So Touch Designer is getting an implementation for it, and we are trying to promote it, that all these creative coding frameworks and tools would use it.
What kind of
Sorry?
What kind of
yeah, let me briefly show you. That's what you would find in the specification. Specification. Wait, is it here? Yeah. No. No, it's here. That's the list of currently defined data types. Yeah. We also have the idea of a custom data type. So you can add your own, but obviously then the client needs to understand that. But you can define it. Even image, yes, works nice. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Now we switch to Nathan. Do I just unplug?
Yes.
Yeah. Nathan had now disappeared.
Nervous.
Where is he?
Went to the toilet, I guess. How to demo. How to demo something. Ja, mit super. Ta-da!
This is the microphone.
Okay. Good.
Show coordinate system.
Huh?
Show coordinate system.
Ich dachte gerade, ja, die kenne ich. Ich dachte, das ist für das Menü.
That's the demo. This is the demo. So, hello everybody. Who doesn't know what is Kairos? Okay, no, I would say since the last node that I'm little by little building this this software, which is called Kairos, which is it's a system, it's a set of nodes that helps you to manage data, live data also. So the one basic example that I will show today is a timeline node, and you know how a timeline is, and you can basically arrange over time some data. But what I always missed from a timeline, even also from the past, was the possibility to organize over time contents like values, but also arrange dynamic values, something that is coming from my patch, for example, that is getting generated in real time, like from the audio analysis. So that's why I started to think about what is a timeline and how to really conceptualize and divide the context in which you put stuff from the content itself, from the data that you handle. So yeah, let me show you this timeline node. Basically, it's a work in progress, so this is just an update. So yeah, mainly the UI requires a lot of attentions yet. I just figure out. I basically build the logic underneath, but the UI still requires attention. So this is a normal timeline, I would say. You get time. Why this is 0, I don't know. You can add this sort of markers, loop region, control your state machine. Then here you can add channels like float, got a new channel, and new clip, constant value. I've got this clip, which is a keyframe, but in this timeline I've got just clips. So this is it's going to be my value, and you see the output here. I can also enable the output pin, and I got the output from the node. So let's say I put another constant value there with a different value. As you expect, we just interpolate between them. Still, I didn't create the interpolation visualization, but under the hood is already working. Yeah, as you see, also here is reacting accordingly. Show you nicely. So let's just put This one. Whoop. Let's remove this. I'm building a little scene so you can. Okay. So far nothing really crazy, no?
Minimum of the also is not that crazy.
Yeah. This.
So this is automatically doing kind of a linear treatment between the two values.
Yeah, it's interpolating between these two values.
How linear?
That's something that you can define now. It's a twin interpolation.
Okay.
But you can define any sort of interpolation, like linear, or you can build your own function to interpolate. You can have a damper interpolation, or a bounce interpolation. You can. It's a method that you can implement by your own and just get used to interpolate between your data.
Nice.
But so far, nothing really interesting. It's a normal timeline. But let's say that I want to create a dynamic value clip, which, as soon as I created it, I got a new pin here. So if I create a LFO, let's say, and I connect this guy here, then the value of this clip will be controlled by the patch. Okay, so I can interpolate to that live data that is coming up from outside and incorporate it inside this track, so I can organize it over time. Okay, if I scale it, it will stay there, and then start to interpolate to the other one. So this is the main thing of Kairos, I would say, the possibility to merge and combine and handle different kind of sources inside these well-known environments. You've got all sort of types, like, say we got random spread. Yeah, this is it's a random spread, for example, like, let's center, let's do the, it's to the, yeah. You can manage any kind of data in the same way. So this is a spread of vector 2 data, this one, so that this track will hold this data, no? This type of data. And now the cool thing about this environment is that you can have multiple. I named this canvas. This timeline is one of the available canvas in Kairos. Like, another canvas is the matrix, which is very similar to the Ableton Live arranged view, so where you can trigger the clips. It's just a different way to manage data, like a sort of set of switches, basically. But you don't care about what you put in the clips. You just want to manage them in that specific way instead of organizing them over time. So that's why I was saying I put some thinking in how to split the content from the canvas from the items that you want to handle in that canvas. So the cool thing about these is that, well, I've got, well, let's create another one. Okay, this one is empty. Let me create a new channel. I don't know, vector 3, new clip, whatever. So this other timeline has one track. It's a vector 3 track. But let's say that this is our main timeline, our final timeline in which we want to define our entire show, let's say. So it's really like the last control machine. And then my idea was that I could create scenes or presets using different canvases and then organize the canvases into another canvas. So there's this control clips track that allows me to do that. If I create a new control clip and I put live data, this is the control clip, and a new pin appeared here. And I can connect an Kairos source. If I connect the timeline, basically the channels of this timeline get inserted into this other one. So what it does is basically check, okay, do I have a channel for this channel? If not, create one and put it there. In this way, you can basically organize, let's say, I take also, there's another one here, for example, another timeline, a bit more complex, but let's say that I want to use it here. So I create a new control clip and I connect it there. Now I will have data, the channels from this timeline will be inserted into this other one. So this would be our control machine. And we are able to set this time position. We will have the first timeline driving. Or what I didn't say is that this control keyframe has different options. So I can, by default, this is a live data, which means that it takes the output of this first timeline, okay? Takes the output, which you also see here, and insert it here. So if I move, how can I easily show you? Let's say I move here. You see that the output is fixed here, no? And here, since it's a live data, the output of that timeline get inserted here. I will have the fixed value here. But if I go back here and I play now, like if I play, down here, I will have the entire animation, which is literally taking the output of this sampler and inserting it into this other timeline. If I disconnect, it just removes the channels from there, from my timeline here. So this means that it's completely dynamic. I can have my main timeline down there. I can connect this timeline that insert the channels, and then I continue to work in here and build a scene with many parameters. And this automatically will be inserted in the other one. There is another way to consume the other canvases. This one, the one that I was showing now, it's the live data approach, in which you get the output and sample the tracks and gives you the output. And now we were taking the output and inserting there. But if you choose the other option, which is sample, then you will see that what we are doing, it's basically, we are inserting the entire timeline there. It's like a clip at this point. It's like a premiere sequence. We are inserting it there. So we can even stop here. It doesn't really matter. But here you see that we are literally displaying all this sequence, all this part of the timeline. It's basically pasted here, so you can sample it from here. There are two different ways to. So yeah, let me see. What's here? Some more advanced. Yeah, for example, this, as you see, this is an interpolation between a live data, which is a spread, to a fixed other spread. Up there, there's an interpolation between a live data, which is a color. They're all coming from the patch, so that you pass from this static parameter to the dynamic one. And here we are inserting, we are sampling this other timeline here, which is this one, again, which goes, let's say the last track goes from a dynamic, a static clip, which is a random spread, to a dynamic one, which is this one, and interpolates, okay? So down here, since we are inserting it, you see that we can sample that timeline going through. And this is just a temporary visualization. Here we should see that timeline, basically. We should see the clips that we are handling up there. But this is a temporary visualization of it. So these are the two ways. Either you take the upper timeline and you insert it in the other one, like a sequence from Premiere. No? You edit some part there and you put it here, and then you sample it. Or you take the output of that canvas, and which is meaningful in a live show, for example. You want to define that at a certain point of your live show, you want to control certain parameters live with a matrix. So like triggering stuff manually during the live show. So you want the matrix to drive that part of the show. So you insert, you just insert it into your main timeline, but still use the control machine up there. So yeah, this is the update, I'll say. Let me show you.
What happens if you put a for each or repeat region around the timeline?
I've never tried. Why? First, why not? Even why not? Yeah, the problem is how you select it then. Like that's.
But I was sure that this may be a level of complexity already, or where it's like approaching.
Well, now I can't select it though.
Thank God.
But I mean, in theory, it's working. They are working, but I can't edit them.
What happens if you feed the output from the timeline back into the timeline?
Thank you.
You can't see you blushing. Trying to crash it.
I think it's a black hole. Well, let me first show these, because this is yeah, exactly. Before my machine shut down. this patch shows a bit, shows how you would use Kairos in a project, basically. Because the purpose, the reason why I'm developing it, because I need to prepare my next show, and I want to use it to control all the parameters of the show. And what does it mean? In the end, when you build a show, you build an application with certain modules, visual modules with many control parameters, and you want to control them. So what I found out is that it's handful to organize your entire software into a structure, so having a model which represents the entire system that you want to control. So what I want to do with Kairos is being able to edit in real time that model that then gets consumed by the modules, the visual modules. And this is exactly what I'm doing here. I got a simple, a dummy model, which is a data type. Okay, it's a nested tree. It's a data structure of data types. And then there is some graph utilities. Where is it? To navigate through this data type. Yeah, it's still a prototype, but so this is it's a UI to edit any part of your model. So we go to, let's say there is a particle system in our system. So we go to emission or to simulation and increase drag. As you see, as I edit this, the model changes. It means that this interface, it's totally independent from Kairos. It's a way to edit a data type, to edit some parameters of a data type. But Kairos nodes are made in a way that they can listen to what I'm doing up here and keep track of what I'm doing. So I don't need to manually add stuff into timeline, for example. I can just take my UI, which eventually will be on an iPad or a touch surface, which is directly connected to my visual. So I can simply play around with the values, trying to design my scenes. And Kairos nodes, if they are in rec mode, they will record what I'm doing. Like now, I can drag this, and automatically a new clip is inserted here. Okay. If I move time a bit and edit again, I insert another clip there. Okay. Let me just. So this timeline node now recorded what I did, and if I play back, it will basically write back the output, which is this one, the interpolation. It will write it back to the model. And since the interface here reflects the model, you will also see in your iPad what Kairos recorded. So in this way, you can go on enabling, simply put rec mode, you start to play, and the canvas record everything. So you can already work and easily create scenes and lerp between them without even the need of creating specifically some tracks or clips. Everything is done under the hood. So this is the way I'm going to use Kairos for my next project. So it's the first test for it. And now let's go back to that question. If I loop,
maybe a slightly easier one before that.
I think
it seems like you were already running into performance issues as well, at least concerning the skier.
The skier is the UI thing now.
So is there also like a performance mode where you would just hide all that?
Well, the UI is totally independent from the Kairos nodes, from the timeline. So it's an editor. And timeline itself is super cheap.
Working on until we ran into the same issues. Like, is there anything that you can do about Skia, like drawing the same elements over and over again? For example, drawing something in bulk, as if it was instancing or something, like you have a single draw column, because it always gets quite heavy already for that much things.
Yeah, well.
I mean, at some point you would still want to operate your timeline in a way that's still responsive. And even though it will not be a concern when running a show, it will still, I don't know.
No, but definitely, I mean, it's really important, the performance issue. I didn't put any effort in optimizing, so it's really a work in progress, and I didn't, it's a prototype, I would say. But
maybe Tibiano ideas, I don't know if there's anything that can be done on the Skia implementation side, or if it's more up to the user to do these optimizations.
I don't know much about Skia. I wasn't.
The only thing is you could do some path drawing. Yeah, that allows you to draw multiple, like kind of an instancing thing, but it's very limited. Like every element has to be exactly the same.
Yeah, you can't define.
Skia doesn't have a concept of instancing as far as we.
Yeah, at least I think as long as you don't change the paint, I think you need to change the paint every time.
Well, Skia single draw calls everything. So
yes, it has no instancing or something like this. But I think if you don't change the paint, like the shading,
which we want to do,
behaves much better. Yeah, but we want to do it.
Yeah, we're not using a lot of like cache regions.
I'm not sure it has
No, I mean cache is the right way. I watched a video about how Google is using Skia for like Android or Chrome browser. What they basically do is they render bitmaps all the time. So what you see on Android or Chrome is only bitmaps, and they render them on demand. So that's what they do. It's basically a cache region. The output is a bitmap, and in the end you compose bitmaps. That's basically what they use. So you can do that as well, but I think it's kind of a lot of work.
I think an obvious question is if there's a plan of releasing it as a tutorial, and if there's a roadmap that we can think of for our plannings there. How's the situation?
Yeah, my plan is, well, really, next year, maybe there could be a first release, I don't know, at the beginning of the year, but not before March, I would say. Ideally.
Well, can you say something about the residency that is like the reason you like supporting the project?
Yeah, I'm doing this residency at vvvv Studio. Basically, this residency is about supporting artists and allowing them to stay in technological studios, having the support of the studio to develop some technology and some art. So what I wanted to do since May, when it started, I'm there and they helped me to build Kairos, and then I will use it ideally for my next performance, which will be in end of February. Yeah.
So they need to have a show, basically. So
yeah, I need to do a show.
So the residency.
But that doesn't mean that I will have a ready to be used Kairos version. I will be able to use it, but maybe not any user outside. So my plan is to first use it for my show and test it. Then I will just maybe clean and prepare for anyone to try.
Does like the residency program supply you with money, no questions asked, or do you have to
kind of
back into
no? Well, yeah, I need to to go back to them. But it's not really about Kairos. I just put Kairos in it because that's what I wanted to do. So they just care about me creating a new show, which didn't even start. But yeah, in the end, I don't really have crazy deadlines, so that's cool. I'm really curious now to try this.
Do you have kind of some backups for the things you do in the timeline? Because you may override something, and
well,
what is the way it's saved?
You mean like
Your settings?
Oh, there's undo.
Yeah, I didn't mention because it was obvious, but you got total undo, redo.
Yeah.
So there's no really. Well, obviously I can connect there, but
You can make a patch. Every frame you add all the channels.
So
no. This is the value.
Are saved in the patch, right?
Yes. Yeah. They're saved in the patch.
There's nothing on top.
Yeah, and this is the loop basically. It's weird because it's taking the output, okay, and it's feeding back as an input into this one. So it's fair. Anyway.
Makes sense in the direction you move it. like it's frame delay, so
yeah.
I didn't create a new channel because it already has the channel.
No, wait, because this is just a single value, okay? Then I will need to create, if I want to really put this timeline.
The whole timeline to the control clip. That's what I want to see.
Step by step. If you do like that.
Oh, wow. Oh, not bad.
It looks good, no?
Not to the sample, self-sampling.
You mean? Well, yeah. I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's it. Question?
This is proper bug report. They are connected with my
Super. Compared to the
Yeah. Good.
So, thank you. Were there anybody else on the schedule for tonight?
No, but we have one outro. If anybody's here who hasn't seen the very first demo, we can show it again. Video? You didn't see it? I know.